how much of exposure or presence do we have with the CIA in China right now? Do we have a big presence there or not really?
I don't know, but I think the answer to your question is not really. About 18 months ago or so, China executed somewhere between 20 and 30 CIA agents. I mean, first of all, you had a number of presidents before Trump who just put China very low in the priority. So the CIA just didn't have that much in the way of resources in China to begin with. And then China goes in and just literally kills dozens of them. And so I don't think they've had a chance to rebuild.
Is that verified of killing dozens?
It's been widely reported, Wall Street Journal and the rest of it. So
how did we retaliate towards that?
No known retaliation.
Why?
Don't ask me. I mean, if I were president, there would have certainly been costs imposed on China for doing that. But China's occupied a special place in the American foreign policy establishment, which is the reason why we're in such trouble as we are. But I don't think the CIA, to answer your question, I don't think the CIA has had the opportunity to rebuild in China. And you got to remember that China's been tossing out Western journalists who aren't CIA, but that also reduces our ability to look into the country. I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, our visibility into China right now is not very good, which should lead us to believe that if we can't understand what's going there, then why should we have, robust relations with them?
Here's where I was going with this. If we have the right CIA agents there, by the way, we need to really invest in a major, I would be recruiting agents left and right to send them there. And I would do it in the most strategic way and start them early and have them go through the educational system, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you have to be doing that right in a way to protect yourself long-term. And I would do it in a way to get them involved in the executive side, to have a lot of involvement there. But that's a complete different side long-term wise. Here's the question I'm asking about the CIA. Technology is more advanced today than it's ever been before, right? If these folks, say the millennials, the Gen Xers, because that's really the best foot soldiers you're going to have to update us on what's going on. Just like today, if you do something nowadays, it's the millennials and the Gen Xers and the founder generation. They're the ones that are telling us what's going on with the camera being on and, TikTok and videos, everything, right? If technology is as advanced as it is, and we have some presence there with CIA, how hard would it be for us to bring a open VPN line and spread that amongst everybody there to have Facebook, YouTube, Twitter? I mean, we have some of the most brilliant minds in the world. You mean to tell me we cannot get internet there and fight it so quickly? So if they're doing what they're doing, we're going to put millions of cameras to work by having this younger generation who will revolt. The older folks will not revolt because they have more to lose. The younger generation, they've always been the ones that have been able to create the revolution, whether it was in Iran, whether it was any kind of a movement you look at, it's always the younger generation that's willing. Even if you look at Ron Paul or Bernie Sanders, their biggest momentum creators were who? Younger generation.
Right.
If we can get technology there with the right VPN, whatever measures it takes to start kind of seeing what's going on, I think that's going to piss them off. The government's going to piss them off. Then it's going to get the people who are skeptical whether the government's doing the right thing or not of China. Then maybe that leads to the people saying, we're just sick and tired of it. We got to make a change here. And that's the only way I feel safe for long-term of doing business with China. That's the only way I would feel safer.
Yes, and there are NGOs that have talked about developing the technical means of jumping over what's called the Great Firewall. And so there is some effort there. Could use a lot more push from the federal government. There's something else that can be done, and that is shortwave radio, which is what we used against the Soviet Union. China can, because it's got the Great Firewall, can block the internet, but they can't block shortwave radio as a practical matter. So there's a number of things that we need to do to be able to get through to the Chinese people, because ultimately the Chinese people are our greatest ally, because we've got a common interest. We've got one group that is oppressing them and causing death in our country, and that's the Communist Party of China. So we should be looking to our friends, the Chinese people.